contact departure after flight.
When you push back off the gate, you're going to be talking to an air traffic controller from the minute you start taxiing to the runway till you get to your final destination. We have 5 parallel runways, and I was working departures off of runway 28.
There's 111 contact departure after flight.
I'm talking directly to the pilot in the cockpit, and I'm issuing lineup and wait procedures, which means he'll line up on the runway, and I'm issuing takeoff clearances.
382 contact departure.
We run 2,700 airplanes a day. Volume breeds complexity here in Atlanta. There's so many aircraft calling for taxi instructions, so many aircraft returning from the landing runways trying to get to the gates. You're asking an air traffic controller what their beverage of choice is, it's probably coffee. You got to stay alert and you got to be focused at all times. Because of the volume that we have here, we run probably about 5 or 6 emergencies a shift. There's a cardiac arrest patient, a woman that's going into labor on an aircraft, people having strokes on aircraft, smoke in the cockpit. That happens here every shift, every single day. And when these aircraft come into the airspace, we get them into the airport as quickly as possible. You probably wouldn't even notice it. It's just another day at work, and the guys, they're professionals. We just keep moving them. But we all don't work in air traffic control towers. Once they get into the terminal environment where they have to start descending and getting into the airport to land, they come into what's like a bottleneck, and they have to be sequenced to the airport, and that's what the radar approach controller does.
342 to center maintain 7,000.
Everybody controls chunks of airspace. A plane flies through airspace. He's being handed off from one controller to another controller. The center is the freeways in the sky, and we're the off-ramps. The tower is the parking garage. So we take them off the off-ramp and line them up so they can go into the parking garage smoothly.
5421 to center maintain 3,000.
In layman's terms, is taking them from fast and high and getting them low and slow and getting them a lot closer before they get into the tower.
14, maintain 180 now or greater until depot. Contact the tower at depot. 119.
You know, it's not the movies. You don't walk in the first day and they plug you in and you go to work. There's a lot of map study and memorization work involved. Everything on that radar screen means something.
443, speed at 250 to center maintain 1,000.
I really do love doing the job. I mean, I've been doing it for 22 years. Those thunderstorms roll through. That really pulls together and we make it work. You go home at the end of the day going, man, we worked through some pretty rough weather and we still landed all those airplanes. We take a lot of pride in that here.
I always liked aviation since being a kid. I used to have a little Matchbox airport that you could fold out and had little die-cast airplanes and stuff like that. It was one of my favorite things I could play with, but I get to play with them for real. But don't misconstrue what I'm saying. What we do here is extremely important. The sheer volume of what we do every day and doing it without a hiccup. That's job satisfaction enough. You're never going to be outside of an air traffic controller's control, per se, in this country. And they're going to be guiding you home.
That 1895 contact departure after flight.